Hi guys, and welcome to this video on this Seat Arosa. So what we're going to go through in this video basically is just the base coat and the clear coat stage, and also we'll have a bit of chat about the blending work and the dry blending work on the panels as we go through this job. So this is just your everyday sort of trade job really. It's having the back bumper done. It had some damage through that primed area there, which I've actually got in a separate video with a product review, which I'll get probably done up later today after I've done this video. So spray gun wise, we're using the Devillbiss FLG. It's the 1.4 tip in this one. We run solvent base coat that we order in, and it's a brilliant spray gun, whether you're using base, primer, lacquer, direct gloss, your 2K direct gloss colours run really well through this spray gun, and I have to say it's a big favourite of mine. Also, it's probably a couple of weeks actually after I shot this video. Just bought the Devillbiss Pro Light, got it in a 1.3 setup with the T110 air cap. Now I bought that purely for HS clear, and I've been so far for the past sort of 2 weeks now, I've been running purely liquid glass through it, and it's absolutely brilliant. Can't fault the thing. I think this and a Pro Light make a really good pair of guns for pretty much any job that you're going to need to do. So yeah, sorry, bit off track on that one. Right, back to this job then. So it's got to repair pretty much identical places both sides. This one needed priming a bit further down the panel, so what I've done is I'm blending the wing on this side. Now all we're going to do with the base coat first is get all this primed section and all the area that we've sanded with the 500 coloured up and covered. We're not going to worry about the blending work first. We're just going to be going through getting this primer area coloured, making sure all the edges are well coloured. You know, if you've got any under any arch edges or anything like that, make sure you catch them and be pretty strict on catching your hardest edges when you're doing your painting. Like when I do a respray, I always try and paint the more arsey parts first. Like I'll go under the arch and then come up the panel and go around the windows and really put effort in to catch them edges, because it's sod's law that you're going to get half around a paint job, or even you might get it lacquered, get it outside, and you're going to have a bit that's a little bit transparent, and then you're knackered because you're going to be into redoing the job. So on this one, I'm just going to give it 2-3 full coats over all the repaired areas and this bumper. Now prep wise on the car, everything's been sanded to a P500 on all the repaired areas, and on all the blend sections and all the blend panels that we keyed up, what I use is the 3M, I think the resin coated discs, the P800. They're like the micro finishing discs. They're really good. As long as you're careful with them, you can buzz your panels off in minutes. A lot quicker than scotching, a lot cleaner than scotching. You can buzz it off, wipe it with a cloth as you go in just to knock the dust off to make sure that you've backed it off well enough. And then you can see instantly you're not wiping it off or squeegeeing it off and then drying it down, just so you can see whether you've got it keyed or whether you've still got shiny areas. You know, they save a lot of time, and they also give a nicer finish, because on the panels that you blend panels, you're basically ending up with a flow coating surface to hit to. So when you put your clear over it, they really do come out really nice and clean and nice and wet. So as you can see there, when you just see the glimpse of the wing there, you know, it's really matted off. And we just run it up the top end of the quarter, along the pillar and the front wing and the front edge of both doors, and basically any area that wasn't primed up. It's an 800, so whatever you put on, fine silvers, coarse silvers, everything's going to sit right on it. It's not going to look out, it's not going to look off and leave any sanding scratches or any marks. So at this stage, all we're doing now is we've got the silver And all we're doing is going a little bit further away now because we've got everything coloured up, and all we want to do now is just try and tidy it up by blending it into the back. So we're going solid over the area that we've coloured, and all we're doing is flicking it out, turning your wrist out and just flicking that colour out till that almost the overspray lands wet, fading out through the rest of the panel as you go in front towards the front of the car. On the bumper, again, we're just coming a little bit higher and a little bit further away so that we can put a nice drop coat on and get it nice and even. Now, the purpose of a drop coat purely is to make sure that those metallics are all laying on there nice and even. If you're painting up and you're just going for coverage, then the thing is you can get a bit of banding sometimes and you can get it a little bit motley. So as you see here now, I'm nice and far away, and as I get towards that blend section, I'm just flicking it out at the end and making sure that that colour is dusting up the end towards the end of the door and dusting over that wing nice, so you're going to end up with a really nice clean blend on there and no issues when you come to unmask it, and everything will look nice. And again, you can see there, I'm just making sure I'm catching those top edges, that door shut edge. All the door shuts on this have been soft foamed up, and again, over this heavy repaired area, just a nice little dusted drop coat. You know, you don't need anything too wet. All you're doing is make sure that all those metallics over that side, over that bumper, and over all your blends are nicely laid down so that everything sits nice and even. So that's all the base coat work done now. I've got all the blends nice, and I always let them dry right down. Give them a bit of a check before you start mixing your clear up or anything like that, just to make sure that you're happy with how they look. And always check them from both sides. Just give them a good check up and down, just to make sure that that colour looks nice and even from where you've repaired through to your blending sections, and maybe even from one of your blending sections through the repair and out to the other blending section on the other side, if say the repair's in the middle of the car and you're blending it out both ways. So just always double check, because if you don't, and you start at this stage now where I'm putting the clear on and your blends aren't right, then you're knackered. You know, again, you're into a rework, and the more you can eliminate your reworks, then obviously the more money you're going to save yourself. Reworks, no matter how careful you are, do happen. If people say that they don't, then I'm sorry, as a painter I think you're lying, because everyone gets reworks. You know, some people get a rework on every other job, some people get a rework on 1 in 10, some people might get one over 1 in 100, but everyone gets them regardless. So for the lacquer stage, we're using the Max Meyer O200. As I said, it's a trade job, so we don't want to be going for a really expensive HS clear. And these Seats, I have to say, aren't exactly the best finish in the world. So something like this Max Meyer O200, if I run this through the Iwata and go a little bit further away than usual, then I can get the nice peely finish which will match up to factory. And all we're going to have to do is just nib a couple of little bits of dust out, and we're pretty much going to be good straight to go out and straight to the back to the customer, rather than, say, if this was a private job, maybe it would be, you know, price wise, if it's a retail rather than a trade, it might be another third on top, so we can afford to go that bit further and use a really nice HS clear on it. And you might go that bit further with trying to make sure the finish is absolutely immaculate on it. But for a trade job, unfortunately, everyone in this trade knows what traders are like. They want cheap. They want a big discount just because they're a trader, even though all your stuff costs the same. So for you as a painter or you as a business, you need to adjust, you know, your materials and your ways of doing things so that you're not losing out on a massive profit margin. So using a nice, you know, still a good quality but a cheaper clear can help you in that way. You know, on these trade jobs I only mask them once. I just fully mask them once, pop a little tiny bit of paper around my primary areas, so I'm not messing around, you know, masking up once and then throwing it all away and starting again. Right, so as I said, we're using the Max Meyer O200, which in my opinion, I know it says HS on the tin, but in my opinion it's an MS, not a HS. We're also running it through the 3M PPS system, because at the time I was giving this a trial. I have to say, once I'd used up the cups that I have now put the normal pot back on this spray gun, because my Iwata W400 likes to run fast and it likes to run wet. And with the PPS system, I find that I have to slow down and it runs a lot drier. But you can adjust your spraying style to suit, you know. But for me, I'd rather have a gun and a cup setup that works and it feels right. I don't want to be having to alter my style too much to how the gun paints. I'd rather alter the fluid and the pressure to how I want to paint, or how I paint. And at the end of the day, for you guys that are watching this home, every single one of you sat in front of this will paint different. And I can tell you that the first coat on this was at, I think, 2¼ turns out on the fluid at 2 bar. The second coat will be on 2½ turns out at 2 bar. And I'd say I'm roughly the 4 to 6 inch from the panel mark. At that, with this gun, with this clear, roughly with the temperature of the booth that day, you're going to get a nice factory finish. And as you can see, you know, you're getting a real nice, good wet finish with this lacquer. You know, you can't fault it. And if you go a bit slower and a bit heavier, or maybe it's a bit warmer, and you're going a bit tighter and a bit closer, you can get it on more glassy. So you can still put out a higher end car with this lacquer. I'm not saying it's a bad lacquer. It's just an easier lacquer to get the finish that I need for this car, as opposed to, say, using the HS clears, maybe the Maxmero 300 or the liquid glass. I find with something like that, you can find it a lot harder to try and get that factory peel, because the way that I paint, they like going on a bit too nice sometimes. And especially, I found with this new Pro Light, I think the setup that I'm running on it now, it's really effortless to get a glass finish. I've tried the Maxmero 300 through it, and I've tried the liquid glass through it, because we bought a gallon of that for the nicer jobs at the shop, and it does absolutely throw it down really nice and well. The day that I'm just editing this video up, I've just done a car in it today using the liquid glass, which is the VHS clear rather than a HS, and using the Pro Light with the T110. And I put the heat on the booth because it was a bit of a damp day, and the booth was running at about 18 to 20 degrees, and it just effortlessly went on, flowed out, unmasked it. And I have to say, I'm not even going to touch it. There is no point. I'm just going to mop a blend on the bumper and send it out the door, because it looks absolutely amazing as it stands. But you know, I have got quite a few videos now with the Pro Light, so I'm going to start making them up, because I'm getting a lot of questions asked about those. And I did do a bulk upload last week, so that I had a lot of videos ready to publish, but somehow I've managed to delete them rather than publish them during this week. So I'm going to get all those bulk uploaded this weekend, while I got a bit of time off, because as you know, I'm working 2 jobs now, so it's a bit of a long week. So I'm going to get all my videos edited up each weekend, get them uploaded, and then publish them at nice timescales throughout the weeks as we go along. So that's about it for this job. After I finished clearing up this bumper, we've got the pictures all the way through, from the repair to the primer to the masking. And if you guys are new to the channel, thanks for joining us, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for watching. We get a lot of really good support through the channel, and even though, as a lot of my sort of hardcore followers know, that I've now got 2 jobs, this isn't going to affect the YouTube channel. This is still a massive passion of mine, and I want to keep sharing. And if anything, having the 2 jobs gives me more areas that I can add more content, because I'm getting more experience. So if you like the video, guys, give it a like, give it a subscribe. I'm going to be having quite a few videos go up this week, so we can get a bit of fresh content up for you guys, so you can keep watching. And I'll see you again soon for the next video. Thanks.